right? That's the most made up my last name's ever been. Thank you. I've never been happier than watching you at this table order more drinks, knowing that you'll be around for at least 8 more minutes. Okay, so my girlfriend and I, we've been dating for 5 years, very happily dating. One weird thing is that she's a little bit on the shorter end. She's only 5 feet tall. So this wasn't a problem when we first started dating, because we kind of looked like we're the same age, but over the past 5 years I've progressively aged, and she's stayed that same kind of 19-year-old look. So I've noticed recently we're starting to get some weird looks when we go out places. And this was never more evident than this past Valentine's Day. I went to, my girlfriend said she wanted a pair of Victoria's Secret sweatpants for Valentine's Day. I didn't know Victoria's Secret made sweatpants, but they make sweatpants. So I went up to the Towson Mall, and I was in the store, and I realized I had to walk in to the Victoria's Secret and ask them for the smallest size they got, right? So I walked in feeling a little bit like Casey Anthony in a kindergarten, and is it too soon for that joke? She killed her kid. That may be too soon. So I walked into the store, and I walk up to the clerk, and when I get to the clerk, I realize I don't really know what my girlfriend wanted. Like, I knew she wanted sweatpants, but I didn't know size or color or if she wanted something written across her butt or not. So the clerk's trying to be a kind soul. She goes, well, about how big is she? So I'm looking around for something comparably sized, and I spot a girl in the corner. I go, she's about that tall. This table's loving it. I got close to the punchline. So I go, she's about that tall. The girl goes, oh, so she's a smaller or extra small? And I go, sure, yeah. And then that girl turned around, and I realized she was maybe 11 years old. And what's worse is her mom has now watched me walk into the store by myself with my Eddie Munster widow's peak, look her daughter up and down, point, give a thumbs up, and go, yeah. So we are happily dating. We recently moved in together. My girlfriend and I recently moved in together. We got kind of mixed reviews when we moved in together. My friends, or her friends, kind of had the same reaction where it was like, oh, that's so romantic, you guys like Romeo and Juliet. And my friends had a different reaction. Like, my one friend was very concerned. He goes, yeah, but what are you going to do if you got to take a poop or something? Like, I don't really know how to react to that. I guess she's going to have to smell it then? Like, I don't know. I just like to clarify, I'm not going to force her to smell it. I'm just saying a byproduct of cohabitation is that may happen. By the way, who's that a deal breaker for, right? Who's like, things are going really well with my girl and all, but I'm going to have to take a toozy soon, and she can't be here, you know? But my favorite reaction was my Nana. I told my Nana we were moving in together, and she walks up and she goes, no, you're too young. Like, Nana, you got married at 19, right? Like, old people love to do that. Old people love to glorify, old people love, right? Like, they always pretend, she's like, oh, love isn't what it used to be. Love isn't what it used to be. And you can't really blame her. I mean, this is the same woman, though, who told me about my great-grandparents, right? And she glorified my great-grandparents. My great-grandparents met because my great-grandmother was in love with my great-grandfather's brother. And then she just settled for my great-grandfather, right? And that is a major pillar of my family, is two people who looked at each other and went, it's only forever, right? And at the same time, my great-grandmother then bore him 3 kids. They had a wonderful, happy family. My great-grandfather would repay her by saying loving things like, get me a beer, and there's not a court in the world that would convict me, which I'm pretty sure meant my great-grandfather loved my great-grandmother so much he was willing to murder her just to test the American justice system. But I can't, again, you can't blame my great-grandma, because there's totally a generation gap there. I mean, obviously between... Can you just imagine, like, the invention of the internet and what that means to old people? Like, that's just a crazy... Like, my great-grandmother just recently... my Nana just recently switched from dial-up to DSL. Like, up until last week, every time she logged onto the internet, it sounded like an AOL commercial from 1995. Like, that is what happened. I didn't even know dial-up still existed. And the other day, she calls me up, she goes, hey, Charlie, did you know that if you search something on the Google, like a word, you can find its synonyms? It's like, yes, Nana. All the power in the world at your fingertips, and you're using Google as a thesaurus. The other day she goes, hey, Charlie, do you have an adding machine on you? So I sat her down at her computer and pointed out that the computer actually has a calculator. And as I'm explaining how to get in to the calculator, she looks up at me and goes, oh, you've thought of everything. And she said it so convincingly that I couldn't tell whether she thought I programmed the computer or I invented the calculator. Like, that was how convincing. At the same time, though, again, I mean, imagine if a cell phone was invented in the last 10 to 20 years of your life. Like, what does that mean to old people? Because from the invention of papyrus up until the 1920s, the best way to get in touch with another human being was to write something on a piece of paper, hand it to a stranger, and just hope it got there, right? And now we can call the other side of the world in seconds. It's amazing. And I mean, I don't think it comes without repercussions, though. Like, I think cell phones are totally gonna be our downfall. They have to be our I mean, they're just, you can't have something that good without terrible repercussions, right? Like, cell phones are to my generation what cigarettes were to my parents' generation. Easy, right? They're like addictive, they glow, the cool kids get them first. They definitely cause cancer. Like, there's no doubt in my mind that they cause cancer. They have to cause cancer, right? I mean, these things, when I was in the store buying my cell phone, my most recent one, the guy comes up to me, he goes, man, you gotta get the 4G. Trust me, you gotta get it. It's better than anything you've ever seen. It'll go through cement, it'll go through wires, it'll go through buildings. You could be standing in the basement and you'll still get service. I was sitting there going, yeah, it'll go through my brain, right? Like, these things emit radiation and we hold them to our heads, right? Like, what's it? You know how we look at pictures of, like, women smoking in the 1940s? Like, Camel commercials where they're like, got a fussy baby? Blow smoke in his face. Like, that is how our kids are gonna look at pictures of us holding cell phones to our heads, right? They're gonna be like, you held it to your brain like that? Without a guard on it or anything? Like, hey, no, we didn't always. Sometimes we kept it in our pockets. Next to our balls, right? Like, I'm just saying, it's only a matter of time until the lumps start forming, right? Like, I give it 2 or 3 generations of children until all of our kids look like Chunk from the Goonies, right? Alright, I'm Charlie Cevasco, that's my time.
One more time for Charlie. Got one more comedian for you.